I added zero extra weight, changed nothing about my program, and my lifts jumped significantly in under 2 weeks. The only thing I changed was what I did 20 minutes before I trained. Segment 1. How this started. This did not begin as an experiment in performance optimization. It began out of necessity. I was going through a period of unusually high stress, the kind that follows you into the gym, sits in your chest during your warm-up, and makes every set feel heavier than the numbers on the bar should warrant. My training sessions were inconsistent in a way that had nothing to do with programming or nutrition. Some days, the weight moved well. Other days, the same weights felt immovable. The variable was not physical. It was neurological. It was the state I was arriving in. A conversation with a practitioner familiar with both athletic performance and nervous system regulation introduced me to a structured breathwork protocol, a deliberate 20-minute deep breathing practice performed immediately before training. The claim was straightforward. Prepare the nervous system properly before you ask it to perform, and the performance changes. I was skeptical in the way that anyone conditioned to think of strength as purely mechanical tends to be skeptical of something that sounds that simple. I committed to 30 days regardless. What followed dismantled assumptions I had held about training for years. Segment 2. The science that explains what happened. To understand why intentional breathing before training produces measurable strength improvements, it is necessary to understand the relationship between your nervous system and your physical output. Your body operates across 2 primary neurological states. The sympathetic state, commonly known as fight or flight, elevates heart rate, increases cortisol, tightens musculature, and directs blood flow toward survival responses. The parasympathetic state, rest and digest, lowers heart rate, reduces cortisol, promotes blood flow to muscles and organs, and creates the neurochemical environment most conducive to focused, high-quality physical output. Most people arrive at the gym in a sympathetic dominant state. They've driven through traffic, processed a full day of cognitive and emotional demands, consumed stimulants to push through fatigue, and walked directly from that environment into a training session. Their nervous system is not prepared to perform. It is braced for threat management. This matters for strength because maximal muscular output is governed not just by muscle mass, but by neural drive, the quality and efficiency of the signal your central nervous system sends to your muscle fibers. A nervous system operating under chronic sympathetic activation produces a compromised neural signal. Motor unit recruitment is less efficient. Intermuscular coordination is reduced. The muscles are physically present and capable, but the system controlling them is operating at a fraction of its potential. Deep, diaphragmatic breathing, slow inhalation through the nose, extended exhalation through the mouth directly activates the vagus nerve, the primary pathway of the parasympathetic nervous system. Sustained breathwork over 20 minutes measurably lowers cortisol, reduces heart rate variability stress markers, increases cerebral blood flow, and shifts the entire nervous system from a reactive state into a primed, focused, performance-ready state. You are not just breathing. You are calibrating the system responsible for every rep you are about to perform. Segment 3. What the 20 minutes actually looked like. The protocol was not complicated, but it required genuine commitment to be effective. 20 minutes before each session, in a quiet space away from the training floor, I would lie flat on my back with one hand on my chest and one on my abdomen. The objective was diaphragmatic breathing exclusively, meaning the abdomen rose on each inhale and the chest remained largely still. Chest-dominant breathing is a hallmark of sympathetic activation. Belly breathing is its physiological antidote. The inhale lasted 4 to 5 seconds through the nose, filling the lower lungs first, then the mid-chest. The exhale lasted 6 to 8 seconds, always longer than the inhale, through a slightly open mouth. The extended exhale is critical. It is the exhale phase that most powerfully stimulates vagal tone and drives the parasympathetic shift. For the first several sessions, the 20 minutes felt long. My mind was still processing the day. Thoughts competed for attention. Focus was inconsistent. This is entirely normal, and it is not a reason to stop. The physiological effects of the breathing pattern occur regardless of whether the mind is perfectly quiet. The practice does not require meditation-level stillness to produce measurable neurological change. By the end of the first week, the 20 minutes had become the most anticipated part of my training day. I was arriving at my first working set in a state of calm, focused alertness that I had never deliberately cultivated before. The difference in presence was immediate and unmistakable. Strength is not only built in the gym, it is built in the nervous system, in the quality of the signals sent from brain to muscle, in the efficiency of motor recruitment, in the neurochemical environment you create before you ever touch a bar. 20 minutes of deliberate breathing is not a wellness trend or a mindfulness ritual dressed up in athletic language. It is applied neuroscience. It is the deliberate preparation of the system that controls every physical output you are capable of producing. The weight did not change. The program did not change. The body doing the lifting did not change. The state it arrived in did. And that changed everything.